Hello everybody and welcome to Green Star Trading with me, Tom. All views, opinions and ideas expressed in this video are my own and do not constitute financial or trading advice in any way. Right, for the next few minutes we are going to spend some time looking at Bitcoin. But before we get into that, just a few things I want to mention. Firstly, my apologies for the lack of YouTube content this week. Unfortunately, my daughter has been very sick with bacterial tonsillitis. She's now on the antibiotics and seems to be improving somewhat, but has been really under the weather. So parental duties trump work every day of the week, obviously. But she's now under the care of her mother today, so I will be getting on with some work, and I've got a lot of stuff I want to catch up on. It's also the school holidays for this week and next week as well, so my output is normally reduced during this time, as obviously, like I said, parental responsibilities come before work. The next thing I want to talk about is the YouTube comment section. There are random links being posted in many of the comment sections of my videos. Do not click on these links. In many cases they are virus infected links, and unfortunately I'm going through and deleting them where I can, but YouTube just doesn't seem to be able to get it together in vetting the comment section. So just be careful. Now, we've always got the normal scams, which I always warn people about, you know, the Telegraph addresses and the WhatsApp numbers and all that nonsense. Obviously, the vast majority of you are wise enough to know that it's not me, regardless of whether they're using my logo or not. But just be extra vigilant, as there has been some really malicious things going on lately. So a heads up about that. And finally, before we begin, also I just want to point out we are coming towards the end of the month, just a few days to go until Halloween. So if you do want to join the Green Star Trading Patreon, I insist, it's up to you when you do, but I insist that you wait until the start of the next month. Now let me just make clear why this is. This is to save you money. The way it works is you get charged the first time you sign up, and then on the first of each month thereafter. So if you were to sign up now on the 28th, well, it's the 28th I'm recording this won't be out to the 29th, but if you were to sign up on the 29th, you would pay a 4-month charge for 2 days use of all the content, and then you would get charged on the first of each month after that. So you would incur a double charge within a 72-hour period, which I don't think is worth your money, to be absolutely honest. I'm trying to save you money. It's amazing the amount of people who continue to sign up, even though I list it in the descriptions of all my videos. I list it on the Patreon as well. But either way, just wait until November to do it, okay? And on that note, let's have a quick look at some of the things that you can expect to enjoy if you do become a Patreon. A quick word about the many benefits of becoming a member of the Green Star Trading Patreon. If you just want to show some general support for what I'm already doing on YouTube, then you can join Tier 1 for £5 a month, and it will also bag you an exclusive video each week that won't be available on YouTube. If you join Tier 2 for £10 a month, you'll get the same exclusive video from Tier 1, but you'll also get voting rights towards monthly deep dive videos. You'll get access to all of the educational videos on the Patreon, including my original Elliott Wave theory series. You'll also get early access to YouTube videos before they become available, and you'll also get access to the public Discord, where there is a multitude of channels in which you can engage with the community and me directly. Now, if you want to join Tier 3 for £15 a month, you get all of the things in Tier 1 and Tier 2, but you also get access to my monthly dividend calendar and stock rating system. This is where I list my favourite stock picks for the month, all of their ex-dividend and payment dates, and then give all of the stocks listed a rating out of 30 based on my own proprietary rating system. I will also offer the service of looking up any ex-dividend or payment dates for stocks you may be interested in if you can't find them for yourself, and if you have a particular stock that you are interested that isn't on the calendar of a stock rating system, I can look at it, rate it, and come back to you with the results. Alright, thank you for listening, guys. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, welcome back, guys. Now let's get on with it. We've had, I guess you could call it, some form of correction in Bitcoin and across many of the altcoins as well. I will be doing an altcoin video update very soon as well, but it hasn't been particularly impressive so far as a pullback in Bitcoin at the moment. It's only been the tiniest move, and It may unravel to go deeper. We're going to look at the counts, look at our possible Elliott Wave counts. We're going to do some basic technical analysis today as well. We're going to look at a few things to try and get a few ideas of where we are, but we are rallying as I speak to you at the moment. Now this could just be a temporary bounce before heading lower, that's a possibility. And it's also possible that we've completed a correction already as quickly as it had, well, as quickly as it's come and gone. Seems a little unlikely, but it is possible. So we're going to start with the more bullish interpretation, the count I've been working with ever since these lows over here held, and we moved up into this. And we've been working with this for quite a while now, which is the idea of the intermediate 1 and intermediate 2 being complete down here. This is primary 3 over here, this is primary 4 here, and we've gone 1, 2, and now we're in a 3 heading higher. Significantly higher. I think there is talk out there, and that's, you know, everybody has their own opinion, but there's the idea out there that this was primary 3, this was primary 4, and that this is now already primary 5 complete, having just cleared the previous highs. I personally don't subscribe to that. I think if you go back to previous bull markets in Bitcoin and you study the fifth wave moves, they have a habit of actually being the most unbelievably bullish wave, more so than many wave 3s are, even though the wave 3 and Elliott Wave is the strongest with the greatest participation. The wave 5 tends to draw in the highest amount of FOMO and just reckless momentum chasing, and that's why we tend to have these massive run-ups right before a huge bear market. So I don't think we're anywhere near that yet, to be absolutely honest. I think even though we might by this count be into a primary wave 5, I think we're just getting warmed up and we've got a long way to go. Now I could be wrong, obviously, and that's why we have alternate counts. So carrying on with this idea, let's just come down to the 2-hour chart for a moment so we can see this a little bit more clearly. Since bottoming in what I propose to be the wave 4, we've come up in the 5 wave move here to complete a intermediate 1, nice clear ABC zigzag into a 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move into a minor 1, and potential ABC zigzag complete already into a 2. That seems a little optimistic, but if it's correct, we will now continue to push for new highs. This is one of the options. It does seem a little too easy, to be honest, to me. Maybe I'm just being a little overly, you know, what's the word? I wouldn't say, well, let's say skeptical. Right then, because we haven't retraced 50% or even 61%, let alone 50% of this whole move up. Now, if this was 5 waves complete and we were coming down to correct, I would expect to see that. Now, we don't have to do it. Like I said, in these crypto markets, we often don't get very deep retracements. They're just so fundamentally bullish that sometimes they just don't come to target at all. Now, we can see here in linear scale, which is what we're in at the moment, we've come through the 23.6, but we haven't made it to even the 38.2 either, which does feel very shallow. So it could be complete with an ABC here, and now we're going to rally higher. And that's one option for a 1 and a 2. Another option is a slightly different count that I've got here in orange. Now I'm just going to throw up the actual waves so you can see this idea a little clearer. And this is the idea that instead of completing a wave of larger degree here into minor wave, that we're still in minute wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to come before we find this minor wave 1 at a higher high, and then we will have that more substantial correction into minor wave 2. You know, so this is an alternate option, which I think is, if we rally from here after such a shallow retracement, amazing the amount of liquidations this tiny move caused, and in some cases, you know, the what felt a bit like panic for an hour or two from some people was just like, it's a teeny tiny move. I don't know why it was you know, some people are calling it the top already of a much larger wave degree, but that's fine. If it's only done this shallow retracement, barely even 38.2% of this whole move up, then I think it's more. Then I think this scenario might actually be more likely that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute waves, and then minor wave 1 will be here instead of here. Now, if we do break down from here, sorry, I didn't mean to delete that. I just meant to turn the wave off. So if we do break down from here deeper, then I think the idea of having top tier in a 1 with a deeper 2 to come further down, I think that is more likely. So it's all about whether or not we rally from here. If we rally from here, I think I might have to lean into this alternate count, as this just doesn't convince me much as a wave 1-2, but it could be just a shallow wave. Things will become clearer because obviously the wave 5 target will be significantly smaller than the top of a minor wave 3. A minor wave 3 should be well, at least 100% of the 1, probably 1.618% or more of the 1. So if we've completed a minor 2 in such a short space of time, the minor 3 will fly way higher than any projected wave 5 target at minute degree would. So we would see that we would just continue to accelerate higher. So let's just come in and have a look at the move down from the high here and see if we can get any structure that convinces us of what we might be looking at now. Haven't really labelled this yet, but if I was just going to put a count on it quickly, let's see what we've got. Okay, so I think this would be the 1 and the 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a 3, into a 4, into a 5, into an A. Would probably be my best guess at the moment. So let's just put this into minuet, using our green colour for it. Okay, this here is more than, well, it's more than 90%, so I don't think this is the low here. I would probably have that as my intermediate, my swing here for my B wave into the B here. So a 3, 3, 5 expanding flat pattern. Put that into minute degree. Can't see it here because we're on the 1 hour time frame, so it's a very small, you know, it's all contained within a single candle. But I think you could argue for a flat here. You could say, you know, you're going to have 3 waves here in a smaller time frame. Maybe you've got 3 waves here, and then you've got 5 waves here in the C. So 3, 3, 5. We do get an expansive B. That'll do for the moment. This looks like a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yes, you can get enough work done in this small move here to suggest that we've already done 5 waves. Okay, so we have got a 5, 3, 5 pattern here to call this a 2, or it's a zigzag in the minute 4, which we were talking about, the alternative here, which is the 3 into the 4. So we've done enough, it's just not particularly convincing in depth. So an alternative would be, this is a 3 wave move, but it's a 3 wave move into a W. So what do I mean by that? So you would say ABC into W, and then a 3 wave move into an X, and then a 3 wave move down deeper into a Y, and that would give us a deeper retracement for our 2 down here. So if we do come back up, but we stay below the recent highs here, we come back up in a 3 wave move here in a zigzag, then there could be the possibility of another zigzag move down into a Y into a deeper 2. If we take out these highs, then your only other options are, what are we doing in terms of coming off the lows? Are we creating an impulse here? Is it a 5 wave structure, or is it a 3 wave structure? If it's a 3 wave structure, then that would likely suggest a more substantial longer correction. So, you know, 1, 2, 3 waves, 1, 2, 3 waves to a new high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to a lower low. That would be an expanding flat. That could happen. That would convince me definitely that we were at a higher wave degree, 1 into 2, because we would have completely broken this previous trend and gone much further out in time and lower in price, likely down to the 50% retracement or maybe the 61.8. So that's how I see things in the short term. I'm going to suggest, I'm not particularly confident, but since we have 5, 3, 5 zigzag structure here, the C's a little short. We did not get parity. Let's just have a quick look at how this seems. C fell a little short of the channel as well. Let's have a quick look at wavelength here. Yeah, and it fell significantly short of 1-to-1 parity. If we were going to get C equals A, it should have looked something like this. And it didn't quite come down that deep. Now that's fine. It doesn't have to. The C cleared the A. That's what we like to see in a zigzag. But we do see parity as the normal relationship between C and A, and it hasn't occurred here. So it's not a particularly deep retracement. We've ended up with a very shallow retracement. But I will say, since we're only within a couple of percent, while these lows hold, and we have continuing upward movement while these lows hold, then this count is valid, and I might as well support it because we're within such close range of these lows anyway. If these lows break, then we need to observe what kind of move we've had up, because it's likely that if we had a three wave move up and now we're impulsing down, then that would be another 5-3-5 zigzag into a Y. So we just need to see if these lows hold for the meantime. So they're the bullish interpretations, excuse me, of how I see Bitcoin at the moment. There is still a bearish count, which we will come and have a look at now, which I think is only fair. I just got to find, this was the count I just added on, so let's grab all of this and put it into, I've got to drag it a long way down, put it into the bull folder there. Let's clear this off. Oops, I keep doodling on my own chart. Right then, so now let's consider the bearish case. Bear with me while I find it. I think that was supposed to be bearish and I just misspelt. Yeah, I'm sure I did an alternate to this. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to correct this now while I'm here, because I didn't like this 5-wave move, did I? Unless we're saying this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take out that WXY there, actually. Now, we can't have 5 moves down here, we've got to have a 3 down here, so what we're going to do is, say, use our expanding flat, A, B... No, or is this A, B, C and this A, B? No, okay, we'll stick with this for the moment. Bear with me. Just change this into minute. Alright. C5. Right, so we've got A, B, C, A. And then we get a zigzag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this becomes A, B, C. A, B, C. Like so. And that completes a B wave top. An expansive B wave top going to a new high. And then we get, doesn't look particularly impulsive yet. So best we can probably do is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 into 1. So maybe something like this, then a 2, then a big powerful 3, and a 4 and a 5 taking us to new lows. Okay, so this is the bearish idea, which is this is going to unfold as an impulse wave down here. The only way that's going to happen as a 1, 2, 1, 2 extension and not some kind of diagonal, because this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if we get a slightly lower low. It could be 1, 2, 1, 2. If that's the case, these highs here have to hold, because this would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. So if these highs break and this channel downward channel breaks, that's a one in the court for the bulls. A bit more evidence that we've got a little higher to go. So that's the bearish count. This is an A, this is a B, this is a C. If this is correct, then there's only 2 ways into this B wave high that I can see. One is we're done already, and we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, so on and so forth down here. Or the alternative is that the count that I've got, 1, 2, the orange alternate count for the bulls, 3, 4, is that there's a 5 yet to come here for the C wave of the B, That will take us to a slightly higher, more expansive B wave target. Now we've got to take it from the top of the A rather than the top of the B because we're using that 3 wave pivot. Let's just see what we would come to if we're using our normal fib. So we're at the 123.6 and we've had a reversal here. We could push to the 131.8 here at a 5 and then reverse, so that's still possible. They're the only 2 ways I see of completing up here. Either we're done and we should impulse down now into a 1, or we've got one more move to complete the C, 5 waves in the C, in an ABC zigzag into the B wave. As I've said multiple times before, I'm going to continue to remain on the side of the bulls, and as I've said previously, since these lows have held and we've continued to impulse higher, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that I'm still bullish. I think that we're building a bullish wave up. I think when we look at the slow, no, it's not meandering exactly, but the slower nature of this A, right, we have a B and then we have a sharper C. That's peculiar for an ABC. That's much more like a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this move here looks like the beginnings of a 3rd wave. It looks pretty strong. So we've covered our Elliott Wave analysis now, so I'm just going to bring up some other tools and we're going to have a look at our momentum indicators. Now what I might do here is maybe have a look at some of the counts and see what evidence we've got. So let's come back to the bullish case for a moment. Okay, got so many notifications coming in on the Discord. I should have disabled that before the video. I hope you guys can't hear that constant beeping. But I must remember to do that before the next one. So let's just get rid of this line here. Why have I got these lines? So let's actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll clear the count for the moment because we can just use our little drawing tool to keep things simple. And that better one as well. I didn't put these in the correct folder. I will relabel that with the correct spelling. I don't know, I must have been typing half asleep. Okay, so, and let's just hide this channel as well. Right then, what have we got here? Well, let's come out to the daytime frame first. Get a look at this. We've actually managed to put in a higher reading on the RSI than this reading back here. So we had, as I pointed out in the previous video, we had this sustained bearish divergence here between these highs on the RSI, these highs in price and these lower highs in the RSI, which led to this, what we're saying is a wave 2 correction, which flushed down into oversold conditions, overbought to oversold. We seem to have got some kind of support for a 5 wave structure in here to suggest that this could be a 1. We've come nowhere near oversold. We've come back into neutral territory. This next wave up here, which we're suspecting is a little too steep to be a C, and therefore favour the idea of this being the beginning of a larger 3rd wave higher, we have had the MACD come to a higher high. Okay, back to the levels at where we peaked back in January earlier this year. So early this year and February. So this is a very high reading, and the fact that we've come up strongly above the previous reading in the MACD as well, this helps support the idea that momentum has continued to accelerate, continue to grow, which we would expect to see in a wave 3, which is reassuring as well. We have had the crossover on the MACD here with the average crossing through the signal and heading lower, some bearish bars building on the histogram here, but as I pointed out in the previous video, I still like the look of this, that this move here in the histogram is higher than anything we've previously seen. The nice green bars here, nice accelerating move. So this does feel like the beginning of a 3. So I know, like as I pointed out before, we're not doing Elliott Wave on the MACD. I'm just saying, from, if you imagine it in price action terms, this is very easy to think of as a 1-2, and then as momentum increases we begin a 1 and a 2 of a smaller wave degree. This was the chart rather than the MACD, but so I do like the momentum, the underlying momentum here, to suggest that this is bullish. We did make new highs, which in itself is bullish, because that's a double top is very rarely the top, very rarely the completion of the trend. It's normally a temporary setback before pushing higher and then having your true double top at a higher high. Not always the case, but it's very common. Okay, so let's bring up our moving averages as well. We've got our 10 in yellow, 20 in blue, 60 in orange, 250 in green. And we've got our volume profile here on the right hand side. As you can see, we've pulled back into this node of volume here currently. Okay, in this price area here. Not quite into the thick of it, just to the top of it, I think. Not even that. So just testing some of the support here. We've got this little gulf here down to this. And like I said, we've only retraced off of this move. We haven't even retraced 38.2. Another count we were considering, which I forgot to mention. Sorry, I should have done so. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, yeah, so this is the idea. I should have mentioned this earlier, excuse me. I've got so many ideas on the go at the moment. Too many balls up in the air. So this was the oldest bullish count we had, which was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if this is correct, then this is intermediate 1 rather than this being intermediate 1, and this will be a much more substantial pullback. Okay, and what would we be expecting to see in this case? Let's just switch this back to golden ratio and 50. So pulling back somewhere into all this would be normal if this was correct. I don't favour this one, to be honest. That's probably why I didn't mention it really. I don't favour it because of the increase in momentum back to a higher high in the RSI and a higher high in the MACD is very unlike a wave 5. You'd expect to see, if this was the 3 here, you'd expect to see divergence build between the 3 and the 5. It doesn't happen always, but it's very typical. This just looks flat out strong, so therefore I'm not really leaning into that count at all. It is a possibility, it would just be a bit peculiar, so I'm more still on the side of the bullish count where this is the beginning of a wave 3. We seem to have the momentum to support it. Let's bring up that moving average ribbon. Currently testing the 20 exponential moving average in the day time frame, having found some support here temporarily and bouncing. If we continue high and take out these highs, that would be very bullish. Nowhere near the 60. 250 was the last major test for our suspected wave 1, wave 2. We found support here at the 250 exponential moving average in amongst all this volume in the volume profile, and I think if I remember correctly it was bang on a 50% retracement, or was it a 61? It's pretty much all the candles bodied at the 50. Cool. Alright, so the last thing I want to look at is the trend, this current trend, and have we got any signs yet as to it breaking. So let's have a look at this. This is the minute wave 1, wave 2 pitchfork I've been working with. Now, I've gone a little bit out of sequence here. This is what happens when you haven't done anything for a week. You get a little rusty. I should have really done this earlier in the video, but either way, let's just discuss our two options here, right? So, the idea that this is 1, excuse me, clicking on the wrong thing. The idea that this is 1, 2, and this could be 3, 4, gains some support from the fact that we haven't totally broken this pitchfork yet. Okay, we're still inside of it and we're bouncing right on the edge of it. Let's come into the 2 hour. See if it's a little fairer to the price. You see, we haven't quite got to the extreme out of bound here on the 2 hour. Let's just check it out on the 4 hour, and let's come back to the daily. Yep. So as you can see, it's less generous on the shorter time frames, but it's still intact on the daily time frame here at the moment. Okay, what I'm going to do is just delete those. Okay, excuse me. Right then, so it hasn't completely broken down, but it's not particularly convincing either. Let's look at it in log. See, in log scale, it has given up the ghost here. It has broken and back tested here. Let's have a look at that on a smaller time frame as well. Now, the smaller time frame on the 2 hour, we've not only fallen out of this pitchfork, we've back tested it twice. So through the median line, snagged here between the 38.2 and the 61.8, came through the outer band, tested it down, tested it, down, tested the extreme out of bound. So if we break down from here, that would suggest, I think, that we've definitely got further corrective activity ahead, because we're testing the outside of this pitchfork here, but we've broken it sufficiently to suggest that this could be a 1 and a 2. So in log scale it looks more convincing, but in linear scale on the day time frame you could argue it's still intact. Okay, I would lean towards my primary count, which is that this is a 1 and a 2 at minor degree, and this is a 1 and a 2 at intermediate degree. That would still be my preference. I think we've done enough damage to the geometry here on the smaller time frames, breaking up this pitchfork, that I think that's probably enough. In log scale it definitely seems convincing, but you could still argue that we are still technically within it on the day time frame in linear scale, so maybe the idea of this being free fall is possible. The only thing I think supports that is just how small this move has been, how shallow it's been so far, and it doesn't seem to be accelerating the way I would expect an impulse to begin, like to just really start ripping down. We've seen it so many times when larger wave degrees complete in Bitcoin. If you've been for any serious corrections at any time in the crypto market, you'll know how quickly things can break down. And we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles, daily candles so far. So there you go. Alright then, is there anything else I wanted to look at before I leave you? Let's have a quick look at a couple of these other pitchforks before I go. That's the minute one. Where's our... That's quite interesting. This is the intermediate wave pivot, where we've gone intermediate 1, 2. We've come up to the top of the pitchfork, found resistance, back to the median line, found some support. How's this looking log scale? Snagging and supporting around the median line here. Still within the pitchfork, except now it's between the 38.2 and the 78 and the 50 by the looks of it. I think I prefer the look of how that looks. I think I prefer that in linear scale. Like that. Where we've come up to the top. Okay, we'll have to see how this develops then over the next day or two. If we continue to break down, we've got a deeper 1 and a 2 to come, giving us a bit more room for a run and a 3. At the moment, I think we'd have to... This would now become another new pivot. So 1, 2, which would be much steeper by the looks of how it would form. Alright then, so I'm going to leave it there, otherwise I'm in danger of waffling too much. Alright, okay, if you're new to the channel and you like what you've seen, please subscribe, smash the like, hit the little bell notification icon to remain informed of future video releases. If you feel like leaving us a comment in the comment section below, please feel free to do so, but please be on guard against dodgy links and scams. There's more and more of them, and YouTube just isn't able to seem to get it under control. Alright then, and as I said at the start of the video, if you are interested in joining the Green Star Trading Patreon, there is a link to the Patreon in the description box below. Feel free to go over and have a read of it is, but please consider waiting till the start of the month of next month, November, so that you don't end up paying for just a couple of days of October. Alright guys, take care of yourselves, and I will be back with you shortly with an altcoin video roundup as well. I've got a lot of catching up to do. Take care, bye bye.